What have we learned from the first week of media availabilities at training camp so far? Zack Berman has crunched the tape like nobody's business, and he's ready to tell you next on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on a Wednesday afternoon. We are presented by Doodat Dental and TrueMark Financial. Bo Wulf, Zack Berman, and before we get started, gotta remind you, limited time, chance to get in, become a diehard. Great deal going on for just a couple more days. Now is the chance, $36 for the whole year. You get everything Zack has ever written for allphly.com. Same goes for Les Bowen, Charlie O'Connor, Fran Duffy, Kyle Neubeck, all the greats. Check it out. I mean, listen, you're watching the show. You like the show. Support the show. Come on. Don't be a freeloader. Okay? Do your part. Zack, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Excited for the show.
This is going to be a Zack Berman show.
I hope this is our show together.
Yes. Well, yeah, but this is a Zack Berman conceit.
Okay, yes.
This is a Zack directed theme for the episode today, and what you wanted to do. This is the one day of the week we got no practice. Any ideas? And Zack says, you know what? I'm going to lean into my neuroticism about covering the team. I'm going to tell you something that I have learned from every single piece of availability over the first week of camp.
Well, I would say leaning into my neuroses about the team would be far worse than that.
Listen, let's get freaky.
My neuroses there knows no it needs to be confined a little bit better. So I'll put it that way. I'm working at that. But yeah, no, I think we spend so much time in a good way breaking down practice, and if you watch our show every day, which I hope you do, you know what's going on the field, but. This is a chance that, the players are speaking, and I understand it's a podium set up, but it's a chance to hear what they have to say. And sometimes it's generalities, but we can take what they say and have actually thoughtful conversation about certain themes with the team from that.
Sometimes you just catch one little thing.
Exactly.
One little nug that makes you think about something about the team.
Yes.
So Zack Baun, in the thumbnail, in the title of the episode, let's start with Zack Baun. Let's do what they want us to do on YouTube.
Yeah, so Zack Baun really spoke about the youth of this defense, and he said that he might be the oldest starter, depending on what happens at cornerback. He acknowledged there's a competition there, but he said it's a young, energetic, hungry group chasing the second contract, and it's an interesting framing here when you think about Zack Baun could be the oldest starter on this defense and how young everyone is across the board. You think about the defensive line. You think about the secondary. Next to Zack Baun, you're looking at either Trot Jr. or I assume Jahad Campbell. So I don't remember covering a defense this young, and it's a transition from a year ago to when you had Darius Slay at corner. Brandon Graham was in the room. He wasn't necessarily a starter, but Josh Sweat wasn't old, but he wasn't
mid-career.
Mid-career. And so it's a different situation. And even you go back 2 years ago where you have Fletcher Cox, and they even signed some of those aging veteran type players. That's not been the approach of Howie Roseman. So Howie pointed this out when he spoke the first day, and then you hear Zack Baun talking about it. It reinforces just the youth of this defense.
So there are two things that this makes me think of. One about the defense, one about Zack Baun. The thing about the defense is we think about, Vic Fangio has pulled Howie Roseman a little bit in the direction of rotating less with his defensive linemen. I think what Howie would say is that the reason he's willing to do that is because you're talking about players who are so young. Mm-hmm. They can handle the increased workload. So if Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith were just as good as they are now, but they were 6 years older, I don't think that Howie Roseman would want them playing as many snaps. But because they are so young, he's willing to give Vic that bone. And then from the Zack Baun perspective, I'm fascinated by Zack Baun as a leader. because he's talked about this. He is not a natural vocal leader. He's more of a lead by example type guy, but you saw that grow a little bit over the course of the season. We saw him speaking to the team the night before the Super Bowl, and he talked about it in the spring that this is something that he is trying to be a little bit more intentional about in terms of personal growth, because if it is Kelee Ringo who is on the outside, I mean, Zack Baun is going to be by far the biggest veteran on the field.
Yeah, and you're right about the leadership part of it. And I think that we can sometimes overstate leadership, but defensively, it's something that does come up often, because I think, with the offense, it's naturally the quarterback, and it's the offensive line in Philly. But with the defense, it's who takes that role for you, right? And Brandon Graham was here for so long, and Fletcher Cox was here for so long, and Zack Baun, typically it's like a homegrown player. Now that wasn't the case with Malcolm Jenkins, but Zack Baun is in that position to be that guy. He obviously plays that position, and then behind him, Reed Blankenship is going to have to fill that. But when you talk about the youth overall, Vic Fangio last year made a point of referencing that there's this misconception about him about not playing young players, and Jeffrey Lurie actually brought that up in the locker room after the Super Bowl, that he showed that he's willing to trust young players. And Fangio made the point about how he worked with expansion teams twice. He worked with Carolina, he worked with Houston, but the player has to be good enough to play. And I think that this really goes into how he's built this roster, which is they have so many high-priced players on offense that they've really tried to draft and develop. And to their credit, they've done a good job hitting on some picks in the front and some picks in the back. And it's really Zack Baun was the lucky charm as a linebacker, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they got the two best defensive players in the entire draft with their first two picks last year. I think I'm thinking about the Vic playing young guys thing. Like, it did take a little bit of things breaking the right way last year. Like, if Isaiah Rodgers doesn't break his hand at the end of the season, maybe Quinyon's not starting week one, or maybe he's playing the nickel. I think that's maybe more likely.
Interesting.
And then Cooper DeJean, it took week 6. It took the bye week, the early bye week, for them to make that switch. So as we think about what's going to happen with Drew Makuba after him being on the sideline right now, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and to your point, Nolan Smith was playing in that third preseason game last year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Bryce Huff was supposed to be the guy on the other end. If Brandon Graham doesn't get hurt, J.Alex Hunt doesn't see that increase in playing time. So there were factors that contributed to it. And then also some of the draft picks, we've spoken about how Howie might have taken offensive linemen, 2 years ago, or even this past year if the board was different, right? And so it could look different, but I mean, it is a young group, and it is, from my view, the big difference from 2018 to now is the youth on the team.
Okay, who's next up on your list?
So DeVonta Smith, and you always like
So far,
DeVonta.
you're going all injured guys.
I didn't think about that. You always like DeVonta as like a truth teller.
Yeah,
right?
reliable narrator.
Yeah, and just like in a very matter-of-fact way.
Yep.
And so listening, admittedly, I wasn't in on him, and I listened back to him, and this is just what made me think. I thought of you, just so like matter-of-fact he answers these questions. He was asked at one point by our good friend and Fran's good friend, Chris McPherson, okay? I love C-Mac, about, what's that?
No, we've all worked with C-Mac.
Yeah, all three of us have.
I mean, we owe a lot to C-Mac.
He was my first boss, really. Him and Dave.
Me too.
Yeah. And so
talk about those Eagles web intern emails. Yeah, he's the one telling you to do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So he was asked about.
I think I can say now that was my least favorite part of the job.
Was what?
Was answering those emails.
Was answering the Eagles web intern emails.
Yeah.
The least favorite part of the job. I don't know. I got to think about that.
You know what I enjoyed sneakily a lot?
What?
I mean, this is a segment that is just for C-Mac. So I'm excited to hear him listening to this. Doing the official transactions and updating the roster, because it's like you're the person of record. Like, adding a player to the roster, taking a player off the roster, being the one to physically cut them from the roster, or vice versa, and putting in the transactions.
Putting in the transactions.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. That's what I recall
that's
too.
a powerful thing.
That's what I recall too. Did you like those dorm rooms in Lehigh?
Not particularly.
Taylor Hall. Is that what it was?
I don't remember.
Yeah, Taylor Hall.
I mean, I know. I'm sure you liked it.
Not in particular, actually. I mean, I loved covering training camp, but then when I went to the Inquirer, you stay in a hotel. It's a little better. The mattress is better, right?
Sure. A couple tough CMS transitions on the back end of the website, but you know what? CMAC has shepherded it through it all.
Yeah, C-Mac's the man. So I asked DeVonta about like, handling success and like who he talked to about handling success, which is a fair question, right? And DeVonta's like, yeah, I didn't need to ask anyone. I'm used to winning.
I mean, it's a good answer.
He like thought about it. He's like, all I've ever really done is won. I didn't need to ask anybody. And then he kind of gave the answer about how to handle success. And then he was also asked about, this is another funny DeVonta thing. He was asked about being like, emotional, or not emotional, like melancholy almost in the locker room after the Super Bowl, and he was clearly that on the sideline. We saw when he was talking about Louisiana, but he said in the locker room, he said he wasn't emotional. It was the smoke from the cigars.
Smoke.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
He said he had to get out of there. He had to get out of there. There's too much smoke.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed just like the matter of fact nature of DeVonta.
Yeah, that's good. Love that. Fran has a question in the chat. He says, Peckness migrate for Bo. Waiting for players outside the locker room on off days, answering web team emails, flipping the site in the CMS. I mean, listen, I could peck the emails. It's not bad if you do it once. Flipping the site's probably the migrate. But I mean, listen, waiting for players outside the locker room, like on off-season off days, that's pretty thankless. That's the root of the hate for Mike Kafka. So maybe I don't know, but sometimes you get good stuff. Sometimes you get a good interaction. I guess I'm gonna nest that, because then sometimes even if it goes badly, you get a lifelong nemesis.
And you enjoy a lifelong nemesis?
Yeah, that spices things up. Sure.
I don't like a nemesis. I want everyone to be friends. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the world, Zach. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, that's a cynical way of viewing it. But you don't think I want everyone in the world to be friends is a tad
or not
naive?
Friend. I am a bit naive. I don't even know. You know what? I'm going to take this back. I don't think I'm naive. I think I'm optimistic. Right? I think that's.
I mean, I think that crosses the line.
I don't think everyone in the world.
I
don't think everyone in the world is going to be friends. I don't think everyone in the world is going to be friends. I don't think everyone in the world needs a nemesis. How about that? Like that's my point. I guess.
I think if we're talking about the kind of healthy nemesis that we're talking about here, where I just make fun of a guy, we're not talking about murder.
Yeah,
I think that's okay.
Yeah, I'm more of the. Well, let's have more ambivalence in society. Like, neither here nor there.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. All right, you want to keep going?
I mean, yeah, we might as well.
All right, Adoree Jackson.
Okay.
And I want to get this.
That's Adoree.
I wanted to get to this at the top. First off, check out Les Bowen's column on PHLY.com.
I mean, Les is so good at just the quick turnaround.
Yep.
This was an interesting thing that happened today that I saw. Here's a take, and it makes you think. It's great.
Yeah. And so he was asked about, or so Les. I mean, I hope I'm not violating any type of. He texted us. Did Adoree by any chance address this after practice? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's not how it works anymore. It used to be that way. But I wanted to bring this up because Adoree spoke about Fangio, right? And he spoke. He was asked about like what's like unique about Philly and Fangio, and he talked about the honesty of Fangio. So that makes me think that like Fangio probably said this to him behind closed doors before he said it publicly. But he spoke about like the direct nature, and the person he compared Fangio. He's played for a lot of defensive coordinators, and he compared Fangio to Dick LeBeau. He said it really reminds him of Dick LeBeau in Tennessee. Like, I mean, first off, the success that the coordinators had, but like the real like direct nature, honest nature, the way he gives it to you. So I thought that was especially interesting, given the comments from yesterday.
Do you think we made too much of the comments from yesterday?
Yeah, I do. No. Not like we in terms of our show. I think like I think it's startling for the fan base sometimes and for the media like to hear like a direct answer or like honesty. I didn't think he said anything bad. He was like, he's got to show you. This is his chance to show it. Like we said when the Eagles signed Adoree Jackson.
It is the way that he talked about Bryce Huff and Devin White last summer.
That's fair. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. That is a fair point. And
now I think Adoree Jackson has certainly looked better than both of those two guys did last summer.
Yeah.
But that is the way that he talked about them,
Yeah, and
I don't think it's the way that he was talking about Zack Baun then.
That's a good point. Now, when we first spoke about Adoree, when they signed him, we didn't speak about him as like he's definitely on the 53, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah. And so I think it was a surprise to me to see him really pushing for that starting job during the first week. I don't know if Vic was kind of prepped for Adoree stuff and wanted to like push back on the idea that this guy's going to start. I don't have a good answer to that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. The quote from Jackson was, I think every defense I played for has always been different. And one thing I would say would be different is Vic is his demeanor and how he talks and how he approaches the game. And you could tell he's very respectable. And then he said the only thing I could probably relate it to would be when I was in Tennessee my first year with Dick LeBeau.
Okay.
He says when he speaks, everyone listens. You feel that. You can see that. And then he can tell you good stories and help you out. You don't get discouraged because he's seen it all and been through it all. And that's what I loved about Dick LeBeau and what I appreciate a lot about Vic.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about the whole Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo battle, and is there a door number 3? I don't know. Well,
I think the way he talks about Mac McWilliams is interesting.
It's really interesting.
And I went back and was
a particularly interesting contrast.
Yeah, I went back and was listening to that. I got to say, I listened back to the show from Monday.
When?
When did I listen back to it?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Okay.
And I Googled what you said at the top of the show. I didn't know what that term was.
Okay.
I wish I did not Google it. But
I'm pretty sure Fran's exact words to you were don't Google it.
I thought he meant like on like a public computer, right? And so like, yeah.
For those of you catching up, I believe
we don't need to get it. So,
and what did you think?
I don't know how that came. I don't know how that came up, but
I mean, it's a relic of a much better internet.
I was like, Bo, you are one of a kind. And so I
what did you do? Shut the computer and like?
Well, it was my phone. I like swiped it out quickly, right? But yeah, I'm very cautious about everything I say or try to be, and I respect your boldness. I wish I had that. I wish I had your boldness, but I was
a simpler time.
I was listening back. What were we talking about? Sorry.
Lemon Party?
What's that?
I don't know.
No. When I was listening back to the show, but no, what was the topic we were discussing?
The corners, is there a door number?
Yes. Okay, yeah. Sorry, thank you. I was listening back to yesterday's show, and I thought you had a terrific point. It was actually clipped. You can a great job by Ethan. You can see it on our social channels about how Cooper DeJean at safety might actually be the best option for this team with Mac McWilliams at slot. In other words, like Mac might be a better option in the slot than the next option at safety. So I'm fascinated to see the Cooper DeJean of this all. I still think Keely Ringo wins the outside job. I think it'd be disappointing to the Eagles if he did not win the outside cornerback job. He's been groomed for this during the past 3 years, or he's been developed for this during the past 3 years. So I'm eager to see how that shakes out. I still think Adoree's meant to just be your Isaiah Rodgers veteran insurance type.
Now, how many turkeys would you put on Cooper DeJean at safety, Keely Ringo at corner, and Brandon Johnson as the starting slot?
I don't think Brandon Johnson's the starting slot. Yeah, but that
I feel bad. I didn't give it enough pomp and circumstance because I was caught with my pants down yesterday.
Yeah.
But then I couldn't lie.
You couldn't keep a straight face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I explained it too well either because I wasn't prepared, but sometimes you see someone on the defense reacting to what's happening on the field quicker, like a split second quicker than everybody else on defense. And I see that with Brandon Johnson. Now, maybe part of that is if you're the nickel in this defense, you have to be that aware. And maybe that's a prerequisite. But I really like what I've seen so far from him. I'm excited to see if this crush, how powerful it can get.
What are turkeys that he makes to 53?
Oh, 3.
3. And how?
Well, that's the thing. This is a much more old school camp crush. This is, I mean, if he makes the roster, it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But if this is an Elijah Riley level. You hope he makes the practice squad and sticks around and carves out a yeoman's like NFL career.
I saw in the Discord that this is from MJ Logan. By the way, if you're a diehard, you can be a Discord member. Make sure you check that out.
Again, this is it. $36 for the whole year.
Yeah,
Take advantage.
MJ Logan 42, and he hits it on the head. This is someone who's been following you for a long time, clearly. Such a great bit to pick a guy to be your favorite of the guys with absolutely no expectations, the best worst player, and then bask in the credit when they spend 5 years in the NFL across 12 practice squads.
Yeah, that's real though.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I think that takes more. I think that's more impressive than the first round pick looks awesome and is going to be good.
I agree with you. I just laugh that Christian Ellis, who's built like a good career for himself in the NFL.
He got an RFA tender this year.
But I'm saying whenever something happens with Christian Ellis on social media, it's like at Bo Wolf. Like Christian Ellis must be like, wait, I get credit for myself.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
We know that the league is watching. They might not have known if I didn't bring it to their attention.
That was one of the best openings. That was before the cold open. Could you imagine if that was the cold open? A 15 minute.
It wouldn't have been the cold open.
True. But you would have been in the priest outfit.
Maybe, or I would have thrown it on during we got 35 seconds or so between the cold open.
True.
You were not happy with the title that day.
What was the title that day?
I believe the title was The Assassination of Christian Ellis by the Coward Howie Roseman.
Oh, yeah, I was not. I was not happy with that.
It's a reference to a movie, which you didn't know.
Yeah, no.
You thought that was too far.
I was trying.
That wasn't even the beginning.
I was trying to build up the network, trying to get something. I'm not trying to assassinate the GM. Didn't understand it.
Let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side and get to more of Zach's takeaways, including what he learned from Harrison Bryant. Believe it or not. Every time I say believe it or not, I do the George Costanza, believe it or not, isn't at home. He must be out. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about our friends at TrueMark.
We're like Anthony's show. We're breaking out the song during the ad read.
Believe it or not, back to school season is just around the corner. My little one will be I got one in preschool, one in going into first grade. And yes, we're already making a list of the things that they need. Lunch containers, extra clothes, school supplies, the works. Preschool might be pint-sized, but let's be honest, the costs definitely are not. That's why this year I'm planning ahead, and I'll be using my TrueMark Financial Credit Union debit card that earns rewards. Every time I swipe that bad boy and choose credit for my back-to-school purchases, whether it's snacks, school shoes, or that ridiculously cute backpack, I know I won't resist. I'll be earning points. And those points, they can be redeemed for cash, travel, or retail gift cards, merchandise, and more. I've already got my eye on a gift card that'll help cover part of the school supply haul. Feels good knowing that I'll be getting a little something back just for buying the things we need anyway. So if you're already a TrueMark Financial Credit Union member, be sure to check out your debit card benefits before you start shopping. And if you are not yet a member, now is the perfect time to join. Just stop by one of TrueMark Financial Credit Union's 24 branches or visit TrueMark.com, TrueMark.com, to open your account today. TrueMark Financial Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. All right, friend, here's an impression of me from yesterday.
Okay.
That's me walking into my house, sweating like a pig, because it is feeling like a sauna in there.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. This time of year, this Philly heat, it's no joke.
So what do? Do I go jump in a lake? It's not going to happen. So I just got a bunch of ice, held it, rubbed it on my face, stuffed it down my shirt, stuffed it down my pants. Only way I could think to cool down.
I mean, stop being the stereotypical dad, though. Turn on the AC. It's time to fire that thing up.
I don't want to waste money, be energy efficient.
Well, look, instead of icing yourself out or jumping into a lake, you could just check out Pico's energy-saving rebates. They've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work and cut down on your bills.
So, no more ice down my pants?
No, you could skip the ice, save the ice, and you throw in my drinks when I come over.
The same ice?
No, we'll change the ice up.
Okay, fine. That's what's up.
All right, well, just head over to pico.com/ways to save. They've got tips for everything. Heating, cooling, lighting, you name it.
All right. Back on the PHLY Eagles podcast, presented by Doodat Dental and True Mark Financial. Who do you want to talk about next, Zach?
Well, not Harrison Bryant.
Why not?
I was not in on Harrison Bryant. I would have liked to talk to him. He was speaking when someone I was hoping to speak with was speaking.
Can we call him Harry B?
You'd have to ask him.
Okay.
Would you like to call him Harry B?
Why not? Harry B shopping.
Harry B shopping?
No.
I wonder if anyone calls him Harry.
Harry B blocking.
I wonder if anyone calls him Harry.
I guarantee somebody calls him Harry.
You think so? I think if you
I mean, I call him Harry, so yeah.
I think if you go by Harrison, you don't want to be called Harry. I think you would just go by Harry in that case. I think if you go by Harrison, you want to be called Harrison.
I don't know. I would be blown away if there's nobody in his life who calls him Harry.
Well, I got to say, that answer would have been more interesting than any of the answers that he gave when he spoke during, because I did not get much from Harrison Bryant. The Harrison Bryant and Grant Calcaterra was kind of the same thing about being a complete tight end. Calcaterra said he spent the offseason really focusing on being a complete tight end, a threat in the run game, threat in the passing game. There are not too many complete two-way tight ends in the NFL. I don't know if I would consider Calcaterra that, but we'll see how that goes. I am curious about how this progresses. So let's go to Jahan Dotson.
Okay.
I found Jahan Dotson.
J-Dot?
Yeah. So we spoke about this a bit the other day, where he said the younger me would not have handled last year very well. He said, being a receiver, everyone wants the ball. That's just a part of who we are, but it's bigger than me at the end of the day. I got a family to feed. I've got to, whatever's asked of me, whatever that's coming in, running a clear out route, whether that's catching a bubble screen, and that's going to be my only target today. That's going to be my only target today. So he spoke about how he adjusted to that role that he had last year. But I also thought too, on the topic of Dotson, how he spoke about the catch in the Super Bowl. This is something that Merrill Reese asked him about. And you guys saw this in the behind the scenes, that in the huddle, Jalen said that he said Jahan, right? Like that play was going to Jahan. He said, we were working on that play all week. When Jalen came in the huddle and said my name, I knew it was go time. I knew I had to make the play for the team. I was able to do so. So you saw his role evolve last year. Now, it took a lot of time. I mean, the Eagles needed him to be more productive in Tampa and New Orleans than he was. But in terms of running like the clear out routes, he was able to do that, and he does have a full offseason with the team. He also said in that press conference that he wasn't surprised that they didn't pick up their fifth-year option. I think that was fairly obvious that they weren't going to pick it up, but this is a big year for him, and I think he recognizes that.
I think there is a wide range of outcomes here for Jahan Dotson. Based on the precedent of how he has performed in the first 3 years of his career, it is unlikely that he's going to be an impact player on this team. But, I mean, a lot of things, frankly, have broken right for the Eagles lately. And one thing that could break right for them is Jahan Dotson having a really good year. Certainly he has the talent in his body to have been a first-round pick. You saw what he did in the Super Bowl. If he can become a real viable third option or fourth option in the passing game, yeah, that would go a long way to just how difficult this offense is to defend. I am still probably skeptical just because of the history. And I don't think that he's had a particularly great training camp so far. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. And frankly, the thing that matters the most is, does Jalen Hurts trust him enough to throw him the ball? Yeah,
so to that point here, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to mention this as well. He was down in Houston working out with Parker Washington, his former college teammate. And Jalen was down in Houston, and so they got together like once a week. And so him and Jalen spent time together during the offseason. Now, Jalen spent time with Johnny Wilson last year, and like Johnny Wilson wasn't this big threat. So we'll see how it goes. But I am curious to see Dotson answer this. And we spoke about this a bit during the Super Bowl era draft or the Super Bowl team drafts.
Yeah.
But we spoke about specifically Dotson last year. What?
Because you had no receivers? Was that?
Yeah. But Quez Watkins in 2022 or Jahan Dotson in 2025? Who's going to have the better year?
I mean, I think it would be depressing to not say Jahan Dotson
In 2025?
But
Quez was
the
fine.
2021 version of Quez.
Or-
was
yeah,
not
that-
bad,
yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
and
true.
I don't know if
Before
Jahan
AJ.
Dotson will get
Yeah.
to that, but the 2022 version, yeah, you would hope that he would at least be a more complete player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a former first-round pick. This is a big year for Jahan Dotson.
Dottie.
So curious to see.
Dottie Hinson.
We spoke about Zack Baun earlier. You know who spoke to Zack Baun this offseason? Or
Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uchee.
Josh Uchee.
Yeah.
There you go, Josh Uchee. Well, so him and Baun have a relationship. He said, when I talked about coming here to Philly,
That's a scoop.
I could just see it in his eyes what Philly meant to him. Being me, coming from New England, being in the situation I was in and all that stuff, that energy, I fed off it instantly. I felt it. So from there, I felt this was the best place to give me that chance that I know to capitalize on what I can do. And I bring this up. This was interesting because, not just the Zack Baun connection, but you're trying to think, all right, who can be that Zack Baun type? Can the Eagles find that diamond in the rough signing? And Josh Uchee and Azeez Ojulari, I don't think Adoree Jackson would qualify that. Maybe Harrison Bryant. Like you go on down the list, who could be that player who was a role player somewhere else and turn into, defensive player of the year candidate's ambitious, but like
say so.
like a major contributor for the Eagles. They hit on Mekhi Becton last year. They hit on Zack Baun last year, and Josh Uchee could potentially be that player for them.
I think that's he might be the most realistic of those guys. I mean, I guess you could say Adoree Jackson gives you a James Bradbury 2022 level season. Maybe one of the offensive linemen takes the right guard job and is really good. Maybe an undrafted guy pops, but yeah, I think Uchee has looked spry in camp thus far. I think I have seen a little bit more juice from him than Ojulari or any of the other guys on the edge fighting for spots.
Yeah, well said. By the way, Ojulari and Uchee have a relationship too. They Nigerian heritage. They've kept in touch from. They weren't in the same draft, but from just conversations throughout the year. So Uchee and Ojulari spoke actually before they signed in Philly. That was. I didn't get much from the Ojulari press conference, but that was one of them. Ayo, which is what A.J. Brown wants people to be singing when he scores touchdowns this year, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. What's the song?
I don't know.
My son loves it. Isn't the Bryson Stott walk up?
Oh, I don't think that's what A.J. Brown is going for.
Oh, that's not what he's going for? Okay, sorry. I just know my son loves that song. So, speaking about A.J. Brown, we spoke about this the first day of practice. A.J. Brown was very, he's always insightful, but he took like a 10-second pause. A good question from Jeff McClain, and he spoke about how he wants to put his stamp on being the best player in the league, but he also has to recognize that has to come within the framework of the team. And he said he's not judging that based on like stats or all pro accolades, but he's ready to put his stamp on being the best player in the league. I'm sorry, the best receiver in the league. He feels he's the best receiver in the league. What's your perspective of that?
Excuse me.
You're excused.
You caught me mid-sip.
Okay.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Yep.
My perspective on is he the best wide receiver in football?
Yes.
I think very possibly. You can make your case for Justin Jefferson. You can make your case for Jamar Chase. And the case against A.J. Brown is that he hasn't had those huge numbers because he's never played in a true pass-heavy offense. The only one that you could argue was 2022, and he had a monster year. But the truth is, he has been the most efficient receiver in football since he entered the league. We've talked about this before. 2.5 yards per route run is sort of like the magic number for you are an elite receiver. 4 guys did it last year. A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, and Justin Jefferson.
It's good company.
Of those 4 guys, they all 4 did it the year before. You go the year before that, just A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson. Now, Justin Jefferson has done it every year of his career, but A.J. Brown entered the league a year before Justin Jefferson, and A.J. Brown has done it all 6 seasons.
Yeah.
He has been in the NFL. He has been an elite receiver. He has done it in, those Titans offenses, they didn't have anything. I mean, they're running the ball to Derrick Henry, but he's the only thing in the passing game, and still he's able to do it. I think that he is the best receiver in football. And if he's not the best, he's like the 3rd best or the 2nd best. And so, I don't disagree with him at all.
Yeah, I heard Slay talking about on Slay's podcast, or he might have been on someone else's podcast, that
He's been on a lot of podcasts.
Slay, yeah, that A.J. Brown deserves more credit. I get that. There's what type of cognitive bias is as a proximity bias, maybe. Like I see him every day. I don't watch Jamar Chase every day. I don't watch Justin Jefferson every day. I'm sure if I watched them every day, I'd say these guys are the best. A.J. Brown's the best receiver I've ever covered. He is just incredible with like his hands. I think he's deceptively fast in that, like he's such a he's 225 pounds, but he can run away from you too. He when the ball is in his hands, he spoke about this when he got here. He can turn a 10-yard catch into a 20-yard catch, into a 50-yard catch, right? With the yards after the catch. So
you can know exactly what route he's running, and he will still beat you on the route.
Exactly. So I think AJ. Yeah, I think if it was like a video game and you can put them with the same quarterback, AJ would be the best receiver in the league.
And I think he's the best player on the team.
Yeah, I mean Lane Johnson's really good too, but yeah, AJ's absolutely. And by the way, we've always talked about like the Eagles with Lane and without Lane. You can start seeing that with AJ and without AJ. Like their loss last year came. 2 of their losses last year came without AJ. And then they almost
didn't lose a game all season when they had AJ and Jalen Hurts.
They almost lost that New Orleans game. And then the playoffs last year, the playoffs 2 years ago against Tampa, like the offense looked, now.
No, that was, that's total like in free fall, but yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked like the 2021, passing game, right? Without AJ. So yeah, I mean, we don't have the same sample size as we did with Lane, but I think you can see the before and the after with AJ.
And like the psychological tricks that it must play on him to know that he's the best player on the team, or one of the best receivers in football. And I mean, this is not a unique thing to him, but when you're a wide receiver, what are you getting the ball at most? You're getting thrown at like 12 times a game, and he's not getting anywhere near that. And so he's out there for 60 whatever plays. I'm the best player on the field. Give me the ball, and he gets it like 6 times. Yeah, that has to do something to you, as opposed to if you're Saquon Barkley and you're getting the ball 25 times. Like, it's a little easier to just accept, like, I'm getting what I deserve.
Yep, well said. Also, AJ's a leader on the team, connected with the locker room, and he's been pushing Cooper DeJean, and he calls Cooper DeJean APC,
All-Pro Coop.
All-Pro Coop. So I asked Cooper DeJean what his reaction was when AJ first said that. And like, was he laughing? Did he think he was serious? He said, I thought he was crazy, is what he said. I thought he was crazy, but when he explained it to me...
He's just muttering APC to himself. It's like that. Unhinged.
But when he explained it to me, he's trying to speak it into existence for me. That gives me something to work towards and to try to prove every single day when I come out here. Do you think APC is overly ambitious? Do you think it's realistic?
I don't think it's crazy.
I know before we came on, you brought up the fact that Quinyon Mitchell could be an all-pro caliber player. Who do you think is sooner to be an all-pro caliber player?
I don't know. I think they could both be all-pro caliber players this year.
Interesting.
I don't think that's crazy at all.
Yeah.
I mean, just from a name recognition standpoint, we were poking fun yesterday at Cooper DeJean being number 60 in the NFL Top 100, and that's not too crazy of a ranking. Just more about like we were surprised that the league recognized that. But if he's already there, then yeah, I mean, maybe he will be I think he probably is the best nickel in football right now. I would have to think about it and look at the other nickels, but that wouldn't surprise me. But I also think Quinyon right now it's a little bit easier of a, like he might just be one of the 3 best corners in football right now.
Yeah. So you asked me, by the way, if Quinyon's ranked higher than him. They do the rankings like in descending order, so we don't know who Quinyon could be one of the top 59.
He's either not in the top 100 or he's ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. The only 2 players who've been announced with the Eagles so far are Jordan Mailata at 69, and then Cooper DeJean at 60.
Okay. Good job out of you not smiling this time. Way to move right on past it.
And then you bring it up. And then
it's growth.
And then real quick, because we're getting to the break, is Quinyon Mitchell. He's not a man of many words when he's up there, but he spoke just about kind of his understanding of the defense as where he's evolved since last year.
One thing I was thinking about Quinyon, and we can have this discussion a little bit, is we've seen so much. We've talked about him potentially following receivers this year.
Yeah,
he's spent most of the camp on the left after working on the right last season, but he's sprinkled in on the right as well. Do you think that I would like to hear Fran's thoughts on this as well. Do you think there's a chance that he's following elite guys into the slot as well? I mean, we saw him play in the slot last year. He has a little bit of experience there. Sure, you've got Cooper DeJean, but maybe if Cooper's at safety, is Quinyon following guys inside too? Yeah,
only if Cooper's at safety, right? I mean, I think otherwise, that they would just have it on the outside.
Okay. Yeah. You think about CeeDee Lamb in particular.
Sure.
2 matchups with him. It could be interesting.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb had some words about Quinyon, and Quinyon didn't want to go there in the press conference when he was asked about looking forward to CeeDee. I think he said he was just focused on...
Should have said a wolf doesn't concern himself with the opinions of lambs.
That would have been good. But he said that he's just focused on July 26th. Yeah, not September 4th.
Do you think it's always July 26th?
Well, I think that was the day that
just happened to be a coincidence that it was that day.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right, let's take a break. Come back, talk some more pressers, nuggets coming up next. Dudat Dental. You, right there. Your smile says a lot. Let us introduce you to the team that helps you say exactly what you want with your smile. Meet the Dudat Dental Group. This is the team trusted to care for one of your city's greatest assets, that, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now entering their 5th season as the official dentist of the Philadelphia Eagles, Dr. D and his team have proudly served Philadelphia and its fans for over 20 years. They do it all, from robotic implant surgery and Invisalign to veneers, emergencies, and so much more. Locally owned and operated, Dr. D is a proud graduate of North Penn High School and Temple University School of Dentistry. His commitment to the health and confidence of our community runs deep. Whether you're an MVP or a lifelong fan, this is the team you want caring for your smile. Check them out at PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com and discover how you can smile like the birds.
Before practice on Saturday, I was ordering a smoothie online ahead of time to pick up, and I was so pleased to see that the restaurant had a Cash App option, right? It made it so easy to make the transaction. I just paid for it with my Cash App account. And I've had so many good experiences using the Cash App. It's easy to use. It's fun, or it's accessible. When you're dealing with someone else who has Cash App, it makes the transaction so easy to use. So Cash App does more than you think when it comes to having your back and making sure your money stays your money. If you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month and use the Cash App card for purchases, you can unlock up to $200 in free overdraft coverage. If you overdraft unexpectedly, there are no hidden fees. Manage your money on your terms and take advantage of free overdraft coverage up to $200. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download the Cash App, use our exclusive code CASH PHLY in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, direct deposit roundups, overdraft coverage, and discount provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
If you were so moved by that Doodat Dental read and thought, you know what, I do need to work on my teeth, well, guess what? We got the Doodat Dental Bright Smile Sweepstakes going on. You never know. You know what's never going out of style, and that is a bright, confident smile. PHLY and Doodat Dental Group are teaming up to give you the chance to win a brighter, healthier smile absolutely free with the Doodat Dental Bright Smile Sweepstakes. Each week, we're giving away one Philips Teeth Whitening Home Kit to a lucky winner. And at the end of the sweepstakes, one grand prize winner will take home an Oral-B IO toothbrush, top-of-the-line tech for your teeth. All you got to do is go to allphly.com/Doodat Dental Group, fill out the entry form, and you are eligible for both prizes. That's it. No purchase necessary. Running the contest, or the sweepstakes rather, through August 29th. So get your sign up in. Once again, allphly.com/Doodat Dental Group and enter the Doodat Dental Bright Smile Sweepstakes today. Full sweepstakes rules and eligibility can be found at allphly.com/Doodat Dental Group. Must be 18 or older to enter. Terms and conditions apply.
So A.J. Dillon.
AJD.
Yeah, spoke to A.J. Dillon. And look, there's all these questions about, his neck, catching the ball out of the backfield. And yeah, he's healthy enough to play, all that. So all that. But his wife is a food blogger. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. She's like a food influencer, food blogger. And so he likes to...
I don't know if people are blogging much these days.
Food reviewer?
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to, okay. So I wanted to ask AJ Dillon if he got to experience Philly's food scene since coming here. And of course he has. So he did the whole Rittenhouse.
This is a line of questioning right up your alley.
Yeah. He did the whole Rittenhouse Square circuit when he got here. And he said that so he's a steak and potato guy.
Dining with the Dillons.
And Butcher and Singer was his steakhouse of choice. Okay. But he's trying to eat careful now during the season. So they had a free night. And he went to Blue Corn for Mexican. And he said
I like a Blue Corn.
Yeah, he said their tacos were fire. And he said it was light tacos. It's not like the heavy tacos. And so he said it was good for what he was doing right now, right? So Blue Corn, if you're pulling out Blue Corn, I respect that. Like you're experiencing different restaurants in Philly, different areas in Philly. So I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to give some insight.
Give me a couple. Give me one. You went to Blue Corn. Okay. Like you're going to Butcher and Singer all the time. That's a little bit more down the middle for an NFL player.
Well, he's a steak and potatoes guy. I mean, and it's not the steakhouse that players typically say when their first one. But so it showed that he look. I mean, in the chat they like a Butcher and Singer.
Butcher and Singer is good.
You know what I think of with Butcher and Singer? You know what I think of? Shout out to John Gonzalez.
Okay.
John Gonzalez did a Philly magazine profile on Hunter Pence. And he, and when you do the magazine profile, you have to kind of talk about where you
got to.
You have to talk about the lunch that you're at. And they were at lunch.
Leafy Greens.
They were at lunch on Butcher and Singer. They were at lunch at Butcher and Singer.
That's it?
That's what I think. I associate the John Gonzalez Hunter Pence profile.
Okay. Do you remember what he was eating?
I presume a steak, or maybe a burger. I don't know. They had a lunch special back then, but it's a good place. I went there in 2021, I believe. It's the last time I was there. They have a baked Alaska dessert, if memory serves. Or that? No, that's a different steakhouse. I'm not sure. Anyways. Moving on. Let me go back to my list here. I just have AJ Dillon food. Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson.
Land right on him.
Yeah, Landon Dickerson. He spoke a lot about, he was asked a lot about, do the Eagles need a backup center? And he did mention, Trevor Keegan's taking snaps.
Landon Dickerson absolutely hates talking about center. He hates talking about like as if center is anything different than just playing football.
Yeah, but he
hates that line of questioning.
He's like, I can do it. Like I've done it before. He doesn't. He's like, the reality is you're not going to have 4 centers active on game day.
Right.
So he's like, the goal is to have the best 5 guys out there, and so I might have to move in there. He said, but you can move to different spots, and if you're not a starter, you have to be able to play multiple spots. So he mentioned how Brett Toth can play every spot. But Brett Toth's not the best snapper. We've seen that.
True.
He mentioned how Trevor Keegan's been working at center. So that came up. And then he was also talking about Kevin Patullo, and he gave an analogy how offensive coordinators are like storytellers.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah. Do you want to?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So he gave the analogy how offensive coordinators are like storytellers that, if you're around a campfire, everyone kind of gives their own variation to the story, right? There might be like this
different way of telling a story.
Yeah.
Maybe you're all getting to the same place, but
exactly.
you have your own little window dressing.
Yeah, which I thought was a good analogy.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then he sort of backed off of it.
And then he went to like children's books in there. Yeah. Like you might be Dr. Seuss and you might be,
I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
I think that's a good way to think about it, though. I mean that is the truth. Like the offense is going to be very similar to what it's been the last several years, but there will be a couple little different bells and whistles or ways to dress something up before getting to the same thing, and I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So that was good. He and Jordan Mailata were very much on the we're not defending champs train. Yeah, 2024 champs and
yes.
and that's it. And so
there's no belt.
There's no belt, as Nick Sirianni says.
Everybody starts at the bottom again.
Everyone starts at the bottom again. But when Jordan Mailata wasn't doing that, he was gassing up, to use my term. How would you say? Gassing up?
Mm-hmm.
Gassing up? So that's my Philly accent.
I think that's Montreal.
That's Montreal, gassing up?
Yeah.
Gassing? Gassing up, okay? So he was...
Back that gas up.
He was gassing up Jalen Hurts. He said Jalen Hurts reminds him of he said he told Howie, you go from Josh Sweat to Jalen Hurts, come on. And then he says he has a little Micah Parsons in him.
Right. Which Vic Fangio laughed at.
But
do you think between that and Howie Roseman's mention of Micah Parsons when the Eagles drafted Jahan Campbell, that the Eagles are purposefully needling the Cowboys in their Micah Parsons contract situation by just throwing all kinds of Micah Parsons references out?
Or maybe it's like backdoor tampering type thing.
There you go.
I think they have a healthy respect for Micah Parsons inside that building, as they should. He's one of the best players in the NFL. So Jalen Hunt, it's always good talking to him. He spoke about how he was around the top edge rushers in football at the Pass Rush Summit. So Max Crosby, he spent time with him. I think maybe Von Miller. But it was interesting hearing Jalen Hunt. I asked him, I said, this time last year, we saw the behind-the-scenes footage from the Eagles, how you were on the phone after practice and almost in disbelief that you're taking first-team snaps against Lane Johnson, right? Do you still feel that way? And he said, yeah. He actually, before the first practice, he was the first one out there, and he calls his boys back home, FaceTimes them, this is my life. How cool is this? And this is something I admire about Jalen Hunt. He has an appreciation for where he is in the NFL. Maybe he just articulates it better than some other guys do. He's an articulate, thoughtful guy. But I also think coming from Houston Christian and Cornell before that,
thing to hold on to that.
Yeah,
in any job, in anything, right? You lose your wonder a little bit, right? So it's nice that he still has it.
But if you're Brandon Johnson.
Would that I could be.
I bring that the facilities at Oregon might be better than the facilities in Philly, right? If you're coming from the SEC, especially now in the NIL era, look, I mean, the NFL pay, first round paycheck's big, but you're used to being the big man on campus, so to speak. There's probably the biggest adjustment is that you're not going to class and you're not just around 18 to 22-year-olds, right? Like you are, around married people. It's a different.
That's where you're going. Got it.
Yeah. But for a guy like J-Alex Hunt, it was night and day.
Sure.
Like, he was talking about he didn't have someone giving him equipment when he was in college.
Right.
So it's cool to see him have that perspective.
What you just said reminded me of something that Jalen said the other day, which I was curious your thoughts about. Mm-hmm. He was asked about like Howie's roster building.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I mean, when he and I talk, like I tell him just draft SEC guys, and that's worked out pretty well. Yeah. Now it's not exactly what they've done since, but what did you make of that? It's also it makes sense, but it's nice to have Jalen just be like, I'm an SEC guy. Like the Oklahoma thing was just a dalliance. Like I'm an SEC guy.
Well, Oklahoma's in the SEC now, so he can claim. But to your credit, he wasn't there. It was actually, I was watching his interview with Mike Garafolo and Gerald McCoy on the NFL Network, and they asked him about Oklahoma's quarterback, who's a transfer, John Mateer, and said he's spoken to him, and he's given him advice, but he's like, he supports Oklahoma. He also supports Bama. He's able to kind of get the best of both worlds. But yeah, he very much associates himself with Alabama. Spent 3 years there, graduated from there. I think he wants those players. He wants the Alabama, and especially Alabama guys are coming with a certain sensibility, and Georgia guys too. Like talking to Nolan Smith said that he still thinks like Kirby Smart. He was asked what he worked on this year. He said bigger, faster, stronger, right? He said that's he has Kirby in his head. Nolan Smith was asking about being a leader, and he's like, I want them to follow me. He's like, if they don't want to, that's on them. But he's like, I lead by example. I practice hard. I run to the ball, that kind of thing. And then we spoke on the show about how he said that he's really trying to get, he's trying to find his own religion because he's a Southern boy in the North, and then when he's out in California, he can't find a church.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about that. But yeah, he said he likes to get away during the off season. He goes to California, he swims, he reads. I asked him where he finds if he gets book recommendations. He said he walks around Barnes and Noble and looks for books that interest him. So maybe he goes to the Barnes & Noble in the Grove in L.A. when he's there. Yeah.
I'm not sure I trust his ability to navigate the world if he can't find churches, but he can find Barnes & Nobles.
Also, he was talking about how in L.A. last year, this was last year's press conference, or Scrum, and he was talking about the $21 smoothie at Irwin. Is it Irwin, or I think that's the grocery store, Irwin? ERWHEN, I believe it is. If you're a California listener,
okay.
There are other smoothie places you can go, like that. There are smoothie places in LA that aren't $21, but at Irwin it might be the case. So that was Nolan Smith. We spoke about Jordan Davis on the show. Jordan Davis has lost 26 pounds, giving up the sugary drinks. And he hasn't lost anything in terms of his power. He says he's moving well.
Who has more sacks this year, Jordan Davis or Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uchee combined?
Oh, good question. Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uchee combined. I'm going with the chance that one of them gets 6 sacks.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I'd probably go the same way.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think these would probably prefer it to be Jordan Davis.
Speaking about a defensive tackle who has a chance to get a high sack total this year, Moro Ojomo. He says, quote, I strike like I'm big and I move like I'm small.
Fitting description. You like that? That's like an Ali-ism.
Yeah, strike like I'm big and move like I'm small.
I like that.
Do you see that from him out there?
I do.
Yeah.
One of the players of camp thus far.
Yeah. Tyler Steen said he grew more last year than his rookie year.
Physically? In inches?
No, in growth, in terms of development. Mac McWilliams said inside feels natural to him when he's there. Hasn't really played that in the past, but it feels natural to him when he's out there. Jahad Campbell, Okay, that's right.
talking.
Okay. Jahan Campbell said that he's just focusing right now on being a great linebacker. Then on the side after practice, just gets a couple reps in with my pass rushing ability and making sure that I'm taking the right steps there.
All right. And with that, we can tell you that we have a little bit more to come in
overtime. Saquon says that Will Shipley's...
Which Saquon?
Saquon Barkley.
Oh, got it.
Says that Will Shipley's like the smartest running back in the room.
Yeah, which pisses him off, he said.
Yeah, he was gassing him up there. Will Shipley said they have real good conversations in that regard. We spoke yesterday about Tanner McKee.
What do you think he means by smart? Do you think he's talking book smart, or do you think he's talking football smart?
Football smart is my guess. Although
I don't know that Saquon would admit that he's more football smart than him.
Yeah, well, I mean, Will Shipley was like an academic Heisman or like honor roll at Clemson.
I think that's what he's. I think that's what
you
Saquon's saying.
You think that's what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
His brother went to Penn, so there's some Ivy League in the family. Yeah. So.
Well, as an athlete.
Wow. Jeez, I mean, you.
Just saying, like it's a different thing.
I mean, I think he graduated from Wharton.
As an athlete.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either, but okay. And there's been a handful of other players in there, but it was fun going back listening through them. Jamal Singleton, talking to him about Saquon. Jeff Stoutland yesterday. You asked some good questions to Stout as I was listening through. So yeah, it was
Did I?
Good. Or he asked one good question to Stout. I remember. I think.
What did I ask? I don't remember.
I forget specifically, but I thought...
Honestly, I don't even remember asking a question to Stout.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe I'm conflating that with something else. But, yeah, it was... Stout talked about the critical factors of Miles Hinton, talked about Kelsey being in there. He said the players get sick of hearing him.
Yeah.
Said Tyler Steen had his best day of practice yesterday, but he didn't want... Or showed a lot yesterday, but didn't want to explain... what exactly it was that he showed.
Yes.
Yeah, and he gave a lot of credit to the best guest we've had on PHLY Eagles, Allison Stoutland, who was there. It was great catching up with Allison.
Fantastic. Absolutely. All right, Zach, you want to do this?
Not in particular, but
you don't have to.
Well, we have the Ospreys next week.
We got the Ospreys coming up next week.
Yeah.
I think 2 more days to buy tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you want to be a VIP, you get a little extra. And in order to be a VIP, you need to be a diehard. So another plug to make sure that you sign up to become a diehard.
You want me to jump in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there have been a number of subtle references during the past week or so.
Don't know what you're talking about.
And I read all the comments and I read it in the Discord, and so I appreciate, first off, I appreciate every message that's been out there. I appreciate all the curiosity and the intrigue, and I prefer to be able to address things head on and be transparent. That hasn't necessarily. I've been quiet, and I'll continue to remain quiet about some of the details, but I will tell you, and I have a lot that I want to say. And, but I will say this. Next week will be my last week of shows here with PHLY. The Ospreys will be...
your send-off.
Will be... I will be sent off with the Ospreys. And yeah, it's... I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of emotions that I will get into then. But I will... We're
gonna save all that.
Save all that.
Put that to the side.
Yeah.
The reason we're bringing this up now is twofold. One, so that if you want to have a chance to see Zach in person in his last episode ever, because you're not coming back. You're not allowed back.
Well, I hope not. I hope I'm not persona non grata.
His last episode
here.
ever, you have to come to the Ospreys. You have to go.
Yeah.
Number 2, more importantly, we have a week now. You have some time. Mm-hmm. If you would like to send some nice thoughts, some reflections on what Zach has meant to you, to be read at the Ospreys, you have some time to get your thoughts together. send them over to Bo, just B-O at, is it allphly.com?
Yes, that's your email.
To Bo at allphly.com. And we will gather those so that they can be part of sending Zach off in style. And all the rest we're going to save.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, like, we have a lot of, we have shows.
And I got to say, what a good bit this will be when you back out and decide that you're staying.
I'm already losing a lot of sleep. So it is. We have 2 shows the rest of this week. We'll have a mini pod at practice. We have shows next week. I'll still cover the Bengals game in writing. But so this is not going to be like a long goodbye here. It'll be business as usual every show until then. But the Ospreys will be a farewell. So I appreciate all the comments. I'm sorry that I haven't responded directly to it. And as you can probably tell in my voice, there's a lot I want to say, but I'll save it for the appropriate time. Yeah.
We love you, Zach.
I love you as well. Yes. And Jules.
Oh, no, Julia's going to cry.
And Jules, yeah. Yeah. And the audience as well. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point being brought up in the chat. I mean, to expect me to read emails. I mean, that's how much how much you mean to me. I'm actually going to check my email.
You didn't know your email address.
Well, I know it was All City, I know it, but I had to double check. It's not my primary email address. I'm not going to give you that one.
That's funny. That's a good bit, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we got to give you a full Zach style episode.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. I enjoy this.
Okay. So get them in. Get in your tributes. They can be heartfelt. They can be musical. They can be horny. Whatever.
I hope not.
Whatever it is that Zach makes you feel, pass it along, and we will make sure that Zach is properly fed. Is it the 8th or the 9th?
With the Ospreys?
Yeah.
It's the 6th. 6th.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, it's the 6th. It's Wednesday the 6th.
No.
Oh.
The annual. I think it's the 8th annual or the 9th.
Oh, that.
Whatever it is.
I've done 6 years of shows with you, or this is my 6th year of show with you, and you did 2 years before that so it can't be 9 because you started in 2017. So unless you did before the, you did 2 years.
It's the 8th annual.
Yeah, you did 2 years of shows with Bo. Oh, I'm sorry, with Shield, and then you've done 6 years of shows with me. Yes. 6 years is a long time. I mean, I don't know. I've
not that long. Too long for you, apparently.
That's not at all what I'm saying. Not too long for me. No, don't say that. Don't say that.
The 8th annual Osprey Awards, Hit the Road, Zach, is the subtitle. Okay. Now you know. You got to come support the man. Then we'll take it from there. All right, we're back tomorrow. 2:00, Eagles practice. We will tell you all about it. They practice on Friday as well. Lot to do. Oh man, I got one piece of Ospreys content yesterday, and I've been smiling about it ever since. I mean,
so you could have just said that when the Camp Crush came up. You could have just said your thing about Ospreys comment.
But I hadn't gotten it yet. I would have been lying. I don't lie to the audience.
You could have played coy. Yeah.
Could have. Okay, we'll see if Brandon Johnson can make it. All right. Zach, we love you. That's the end of this episode. Yeah. Julia, thank you so much. We're back tomorrow, 2:00, Friday as well. Send your missives for Zach to bo@allphly.com. And I was going to think of a joke one, but I got nothing. I hope that's my email.
That is. I've sent a lot of emails to you.
Look forward to reading them one day. All right, that'll do it. For the PHLY Eagles podcast. Remember, last chance really to become a diehard on that good deal, $36 for the whole year. Check it out. Comment below. All that good stuff. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.